Welcome back, everyone. It's David. We did it. We made it out of 2020 and we made it to Week 17. Both of those things were hardly a guarantee back in Week 1 of the NFL season, but here we are. In addition to all the playoff matchups being set, we also saw players cashing in on their bonuses, players breaking records and joining a killer club, and many coaches getting fired on Black Monday. We're going to break it all down, and if you like what you see here, be sure to subscribe and follow Lingo Sports on Instagram. At number 5, it's official. Tua Tagovailoa is a bust. Just kidding. It's way too early to declare that, even with his uninspiring performance in a must-win game. That said, the Ravens, Browns, Colts, Titans, and Washington all took care of business by beating an opponent with little to play for. As a side note, how incredible is it to finally call the Browns a playoff team? The Dolphins didn't, and that's disappointing considering how much progress they showed this season. But it's also true that they lost in Week 17 and missed the playoffs at 10-6, while the Bears lost in Week 17 and made the playoffs at 8-8, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, seriously, the Jets have more wins against teams with winning records than the Bears. Figure it out, NFL! Okay, I'm done. I promise. It would be hard to blame this capitulation entirely on Tagovailoa. The Dolphins defense, which has looked great all year, gave up a 56-yard touchdown to Matt freaking Barkley. That said, there are plenty of reasons for optimism. Despite how it finished, the Dolphins season went much better than anyone expected. And if you want to ensure Tua doesn't become a bust, that's what the 3rd overall pick is for. Give it up for Bill O'Brien, ladies and gentlemen. For example, Devontae Parker was great, but he was the only real threat Miami had at receiver. An easy way to fix that would be taking Jamar Chase. After seeing what Justin Jefferson did this year, why wouldn't you want to add a receiver from that LSU title team? And it wouldn't hurt to start calling Allen Robinson literally right this second. So yes, Dolphins fans should be bitterly disappointed by their team's effort this week. But this team gave them plenty of reasons for hope throughout the season, and a productive offseason should have them right back in the playoff conversation next year. Number 4. Mike McCarthy can't survive this season. When talking about the NFC East, let's start with the game in which both teams wanted to win. For a second there, when it looked like the Cowboys were going to win the division, we had almost forgotten about Mike McCarthy's blunders as a head coach. But he brought them back in a big way against the Giants. The first non-call was not going for 2 in the 3rd quarter when they were down 20-15. It's easy to defend that by saying it was too early. But remember, this is the same guy that kicked 2 field goals on 2 4th and goals against Seattle, which ultimately proved costly. But the real poor decision, the one that the entire game hinged upon, was not challenging Dante Pettis' questionable catch, which set up the Giants' field goal to go up 4 points. McCarthy after the game said it felt too close, and that the 3 timeouts were of high value to them. Again, fair enough, but nobody knows that it catches anymore, so why not go ahead and challenge it? Further replays seem to suggest that the ball hit the ground and that they would have won it. And in the event that they lose, you've got to be able to trust yourself to manage the clock well with 2 timeouts. Getting into field goal range on the final drive instead of having to score a touchdown makes a huge difference. Cowboys fans were beyond relieved when they got rid of Jason Garrett, but McCarthy is proving to be just as incompetent. And while Dak's injury proved just how important he is to the team, remember that Mike McCarthy went 1-3 with Dak as a starter. Unless the Cowboys want to embrace mediocrity, they need to start thinking of replacements for Mike McCarthy. Number 3, the Cardinals missed the playoffs, and Cliff Kingsbury is to blame for that. After prevailing against the Eagles in the shootout, their path to the playoffs is pretty wide open. Beat the 49ers, who were banged up beyond relief, and the Rams, who were starting a quarterback that has more experience in the finance world than in football. But they lost both games and will now have to watch these playoffs from the couch. When a team starts 5-2, then finishes 8-8 and misses the playoffs, it's easy to point fingers at the coach. In truth, their records was more flattering than it appeared, considering half their wins came against the NFC least. And it's true that the Cardinals had to deal with their own backup QB problems when Kyler Murray exited the game, but his return didn't inspire a ton of confidence, mostly due to play calls such as this. Now, to be clear, Kingsbury has done some great things with this offense since he's taken charge. Kyler Murray's development as a rising star should be largely attributed to him. But when you splash out for DeAndre Hopkins, expectations should be higher. and they'll need to find a good number 2 receiver in the offseason with Larry Fitzgerald expected to hang him up. If he's not on the hot seat now, he will be next season if they underperform again. Number 2, the Titans will beat the Ravens, but they won't get further than that with their shoddy defense. Derrick Henry once again proved why he's an immortal amongst men, at least when he's on the football field. In the final week of the season, he needed 223 yards to get into the elusive 2,000 club, and he got it with 250 yards and 2 touchdowns. And once he reached it, he received a special message from everyone's favorite football player named after a drink.
Hey, Twitter world, it's me, yours truly. I just had to take a moment tonight to send a message to Derrick Henry. Congratulations, buddy. You joined our very exclusive 2,000-yard club.
Now that the Titans and Ravens are locked in for wildcard weekend, Henry's got to be licking his chops to play a team that he has so thoroughly owned throughout his career. If the Titans could beat the Ravens on the road, when they were much better last year, they'll get it done again this year. And if Henry prevails against them again, I'm pretty sure he legally owns the Baltimore Ravens. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure those are the rules. But until they fix their defense, this is as high as their ceiling will get. The Colts went from being on the outside looking in for the playoffs to nearly winning their division. Were it not for this ridiculous connection between Ryan Tannehill to A.J. Brown, we would have been talking about this epic Titans collapse all week and how they wasted an over 200-yard day from Henry against a 4-win Texans team. And yes, Deshaun Watson is a great quarterback, but spoiler alert, they'll be facing even better QBs than him in the playoffs. Do you really trust the Titans defense to be able to stop Patrick Mahomes? Or Josh Allen for that matter? Yeah, I know they beat them earlier this season, but this Bills team is clearly a lot better now than they were in Week 5. Thankfully, with both Henry and Tannehill signed on until 2024, the Titans have a clear window of contention to get themselves to a Super Bowl caliber team. And coming in at number 1, the game that everyone should be looking forward to once next season starts. The first Eagles-Giants game is going to be an all-out war. There's going to be headhunting, name-calling, fights between fans in the stands, you name it. The Giants are going to come out with a lot of fury after being forced to sit around and stew on the Eagles royally fucking them over on Sunday Night Football for the next 7 months. But let this be a valuable lesson to the Giants. Number 1, don't expect to be a playoff team with a 6-10 record, even in the vaunted NFC least. And number 2, never, ever put yourself in a position to have to rely on your biggest rivals for help, because they will do everything in their power to screw you over. That said, it might have been funny for some to see Doug Pederson go for it while they were in field goal range and the score was 17-14, then bring in Nate Sudfeld during a close game in the 4th, and then claim afterwards that he was coaching to win.
Yes, I was coaching to win. Yes, that was my decision solely. Nate has obviously been here for 4 years, and I felt that he deserved an opportunity to get some snap.
Yeah, right, bud. And I'm immune to COVID. But those decisions might have serious ramifications on this Eagles roster. He's already demoralized Carson Wentz to the point where he wants nothing to do with the Eagles next season. And now, by taking out Jalen Hurts in a tight game, he's signaled to him that he doesn't trust him either, leaving nobody happy. How he'll be able to mend things between his 2 quarterbacks in the offseason is anyone's guess. While we saw how pissed off the Giants were on social media, NBC really messed up by not setting up a camera on the players so we could see their reaction to Sudfeld coming in live. Either way, we'll know how the Giants and their fans really feel about the Eagles during that first meeting of 2021. That kind of pettiness in a must-win game is exactly why the NFC least lives up to its name in terms of quality, but as far as captivating storylines, it's by far the best division in the NFL.